Hi, and welcome to an overview of PrimeFyre. This is going to be from the administrative and setup level. So we're going to go ahead and sign in. And the first thing we would need to do is to set up your divisional defaults. And as you can see, you can have pretty much as many divisions as you would need for either different portions of your business or for different locations. So if you have satellite offices, this will allow you to create different coordinates for the starting and ending points of your routes as well. You need to have at least one default division, which is the division that you do the majority of your business in. In here, you will set your division code and name. This is the information and how it will appear on your invoices. Now you do have the opportunity to use an alternate address and have a different address for just the remittance portion as well. This is the coordinates of your yard, and you're able to name that location, and this will be the starting and ending point for the route optimization. You can additionally have alternate yards for that individual division if that is not the starting and ending point for your routes. You can set your default notification preferences for reminders. Do you prefer to just send an email reminder? Do you print out labels? Do you send a text message or postcards? You can do one or multiple, as you can see. Your invoice settings. This will turn off or on and set defaults for the type of billing as well as the visual aspects of your invoice. Bill through date. It always looks at the latest bill through date. You can have billable or non-billable invoices as your default. Depending on the division, you may have a division that you use strictly for proposals. Default billing type. These messages here are the messages that can actually print on your invoice. So this operational message prints in the body, terms and condition. If you choose to apply late fees, you can add that default message, and you can specify the types of credit cards that you accept. Toggles turn features off and on. Your billing defaults. So if you are a portable toilet company, you are going to be able to set the default that will apply to all new customers and sites that are being added under this division. So if most of your clients are 28-day advanced fixed billing, you can set that default here, and those are some pre-filled fields that will auto-populate when adding a new customer on site. Default surcharges. If you prefer to send your invoices via email, you can make that the preference, and it can be changed when you're adding new clients. If you have credit card integration, here's where your authorized.net information will go. And you can decide if you are going to set a standard tax rate that would be used for all sites in your company, or if you're actually going to use the zip tax integration that will ensure that you always have the current tax rate for those locations. And your work order settings, what you're going to turn off and on, what type of information will show. You can set your default service type and rate code, and you can add an operational message that'll print on every work order. So if you have printed work orders and your technicians need to fill out these questions, that's where that information would go. Finally, you can set your default market type. Now this division can apply any market type that's in your code set to any site, but this will be the default when we're adding new ones. Now that leads us over to our code sets. In here is where we can set all of our standard default information that we and our customer service reps are able to choose from when we are adding in new sites. So we have our different notes and note categories, schedule settings, sales source, where the client heard of you, who our salespersons are, market segments, note titles. This is where we set our types of assets and what the default information, stop time, weight, volume. This is where we create the types of equipment that we service. And again, we can add stop time and specifics. We can specify disposal locations. Rate codes are the actual financial charges and descriptions that we use when creating invoices. Work order statuses. These are the actual drop downs that your technicians will be able to choose from if they're using the driver app. As well, these are the statuses that your dispatcher will need to change the work order to from the dispatch board or from the site in order to make sure that the system is handling the next process properly. Waste source, waste type. You can specify your trucks, types of services. So these would be the next level detail of the service work orders. Sales credits, surcharges, email templates. So in here is where we can create the different email options that we have for work orders, for invoices, collections, and same text templates for auto reminders. We can set the different types of templates in here that we're going to send. And in addition, as you enter sites into the system, it will log the zip code and the city and the current tax rate. All right. Next thing that we would have to set up would be our pricing templates if you're using assets. In here, we would specify the pricing name, the description, and you would actually put in your pricing scheme. So when you are assigning an asset to a site, all of this is defaulted. It can absolutely be overridden. We can make these specific to a certain customer, and they can be updated in bulk. So you can choose daily or weekly for proration, or you can turn proration off and you will always charge a full cycle. Daily, weekly, or monthly for your particular rate. All right, and you will create these typically per asset type. The next thing that we would need to do is create our routes. So in here is where we will specify route day, the route division, the specific truck we are going to use. That is optional, as well as the division is optional if you only have one or if you're going to be using that route across multiple divisions, kind of as a grouping, and then actually assign it to a technician at a later time. And finally, the actual user creation. So in here is where we will actually create the other users in our office. Choose your company name, select the role that the technician will have, enter their email address, and create the first password. It's just as easy as that to set up a new user in the system. Hope this information was helpful. Have a great day.